So, not gonna lie, getting out of bed long enough to film a video is a struggle. I'm so tired and Grey's Anatomy is so good. Hey everybody, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, so I'm going to be filming a Top 5 Wednesday. And I'm not gonna lie, because of the fact that I'm actually like up and dressed and I have makeup on and my hair is done, I might just pre-film the rest of my Top 5 Wednesdays for the rest of the month because it'll be an easy thing to get out of the way because school is starting in actually a week from today. And I have my senior pictures today. So enough rambling, but I am doing a Top 5 Wednesday. This week's topic is books that you changed your opinion on, I think is basically what it is, where you maybe read a book and you hated it and then you thought about it, or you reread it and then you liked it, or you read a book and you loved it and then you thought about it or you reread it and you didn't like it as much. So without further ado, let's get started. The first book I have to show you today is The Giver by Lois Lowry. So the reason that I have this book on this list is because whenever I first read this book, I was in 3rd grade, and we technically weren't supposed to read it until the 5th grade because we read it in our 5th grade class as like a project kind of. But I got special permission to read it in 3rd grade, and little 3rd grade me did not understand this book. This book was very difficult for me to understand the first time I read this. It was like okay, but I just couldn't wrap my brain around like the dystopian concept that it had. So that was difficult, but of course I've read it many, many, many times since then, and now I love it. So, The Giver by Lois Lowry. And up next we have pretty much anything from Harlan Coben. This book right here specifically, let me see if I can, yeah, there we go, is called The Woods. All of his books are mystery thriller type books, and they're all really good when you first read them. I mean, they aren't the best quality writing, but they're still a lot of fun to read. I've kept all of mine because I loved it when I read them the first time, but I don't necessarily know that I would read them again because they aren't the best things in the world, but they are a lot of fun the first time around. So that's why I keep all of them though, is because I've always had a lot of fun reading them, which I think I've said like 4 times now. Told you, I'm tired. It's really not even that late, but I'm tired. So, yes. But I mean, I would definitely still suggest picking up his books though, because if you like mysteries, he's a really good mystery author. But I mean, once you spoil the end for yourself after you read it, there's really no point in reading it again because you already know what's going to happen. So this is one of the books that I loved, and now I'm just kind of like, it's okay, which is why I probably won't read very many of his again. And now we have Wicked by Gregory Maguire. So when I first read this book, I really didn't like it very much because I didn't completely understand it. And I want to say I read this in 7th or 8th grade. So yeah, I definitely didn't really understand this. I couldn't really wrap my brain around what was happening because I didn't really have any visuals or any kind of context of what this book even was. I mean, of course, I knew it was a story, like almost like the prequel kind of to The Wizard of Oz. It was about the Wicked Witch. That's all I really knew. So it was really like just But then in 8th grade, my grandma took me to go see Wicked when the Broadway cast came to Florida. So that was absolutely amazing. The music was brilliant. The actors were amazing. It was actually probably my favorite musical of all time. My favorite performance I've ever seen live. And so then I read this after I watched Wicked, and after having kind of a visual and something that I could see happening, it made reading this book a lot easier, and I loved it like 10 times more. And this is definitely one of my favorite books now. So, and up next we have The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I was already really hesitant going into reading this because I know either you love it or you hate it. And honestly, whenever I first read it, I think I might have read it either right before school ended or at the beginning of this summer, but I read it while I was camping. And I flew through it. I read it in one sitting and it was really good. And then I thought about it, and that's when my negative feelings sort of sunk in. It was okay. The writing wasn't amazing. It was pretty predictable, and I don't think I'm going to continue on with the rest of the series. And last but not least, we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So this is another one of those books that I read it and I thought it was kind of just okay. The problem that I originally had with this is there's very lengthy descriptions. It's a very wordy sort of book where there's a lot of information that's kind of thrown at you, more about the setting and describing things than anything, not really so much like plot or anything substantial, which had really kind of annoyed me at the time. But I realized after that, I waited a few days and I started realizing that all of that description was sticking with me. It was very whimsical almost. It was very, I don't know how else to describe it, but all I remember was that I feel like this is a very, very pretty book, and I definitely want to reread it now, knowing what I know about having all the descriptions in it, because I wasn't expecting that whenever I first started it. So I think that kind of threw me in for a loop. So I do want to reread it and see if my opinion is what I think it's going to be, because I really, really liked it, though, after I thought about it for a few days. So that is why the Night Circus is in this video. So that's it, everybody, for my Top 5 Wednesday. You'll definitely be seeing these for the rest of the month from me. I feel bad that I'm going to pre-film them, but I did my senior pictures this morning, and I'm dressed, and I'm feeling kind of productive now that I managed to shut off Grey's Anatomy. So I'm going to film them, that way I make sure that I at least have my Wednesday videos up, because I do try to stick to my schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It is kind of hard, especially when I get kind of lazy and I procrastinate, so yeah. So enough rambling, because I'm going to try to edit this video and get it up tonight, because it's Wednesday and it's 9 o'clock at night right now. So hopefully I can get it up real quick. So, bye!